versus Shaman. That is excellent for Forsen if he is Freeze Mage. You can deny the Shaman lots of ability to pressure. You have great AoE clears. The one card that could bring back the Shaman, though, is sitting in the hand of Numberguy, Lotheb. You have Lotheb with lots of pressure, and there's nothing your opponent can do because of how spell intense it is.
That is a mind control tech in Forsen's hand. That's actually a mind control tech.
Oh my God! A mind control tech against wow. Against the Shaman, card, it's really effective. But
yeah, this is a card you don't see very often. But I'm curious if it meant to be Tinkmaster instead, and he just saw a gnome and he stuck it in there. But we'll see what happens.
You think Tinkmaster would be better in a Freeze Mage than mind control tech?
But I don't know. I mean, mind control tech just always seems like a funky card every time I see it. I don't really know what to think about it. I definitely don't have enough experience with the card to be able to judge one way or the other, but it's been hard to find a spot where I really want mind control tech to be in my 30-card list. So we'll see if it gets some work done in this match. If that pink bearded gnome has got a work cut out for him for sure. Forsen's hand, no joke though.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of gasoline. That is literally gas.
And he's got fire with it too.
Yep, $3.49 a gallon here in Northern California.
It's just, I think it's under 3 here in Los Angeles.
Really?
It's like 309 or something like that. So.
Not a bad rate. Okay, so
not bad at all.
A couple of decisions in front of him, but he seems to know exactly what he wants to do. I like developing Ice Block here, getting it out of the way, not having to think too much about it. Definitely want to get underneath the Lotheb.
You know, possibly on turn 5, he wants to set up a Doomsayer play. It's okay if it gets Earthshocked as well. You know, you're just baiting it out too. Plus, Earthshock can't be used to unfreeze if you use Blizzard and your opponent wants to use Earthshock to push in for damage. Frost Nova Doomsayer is the go-to.
Yep, second Frost Nova picked up too. So pretty good one. I'm curious about the merits to not using Frost Nova here, just letting him try to get through. I mean, it's like Flame Tongue Totem, I guess, is too much of a threat in that position. So just not what you want to happen. He's just going to Doomhammer straight away, too.
I like it. He's got Rock Biter and Lightning Bolt.
He's playing around that mind control tech is what he's doing.
Ooh, you're right.
Yeah. Man, just never totems the rest of the game.
He is so good.
Too good. Second Doomsayer. Oh, he's just going to go for it, too. Let's let it rip. It's not often you see 2 Doomsayers on the board. But when you do, it's usually because one is silenced.
He's got Hex. Second Doomhammer.
Second Doomhammer. Yes. This is just the dream, man. I want to see a Doomhammer get Panda Harrison. I want to see the second Doomhammer get Panda Harrison. That's what I want to happen one day.
Panda Harrison. Oh, man. And then you just kill your opponent with fatigue because he drew 12 cards. Well, I guess 16 because you just play Doomhammer and you're expecting it. And
yeah, you don't
even use the charges.
Yeah, you Harrison, I dare you. Oh, he's gonna mind control tech. This is so weird.
2-4.
Oh,
1-1.
I think it's the only target he didn't want to take.
Yeah, everything else would have been slightly better. What?
Whoa.
So I know you weren't happy, but
yeah,
let's not get crazy here.
I knew you were out drinking last night, but come on. That's brutal.
Hey, Honorable, if you win a tournament before, like, if you win next year's BlizzCon qualifier, you have to go in dyeing your beard pink. you have to be mind control tech.
I'll just cosplay the mind control tech.
Yes.
Engaging TC.
How many subs do we need on your Twitch channel to make that happen?
It's 712.
All right.
Yeah, that's the new sub goal. Froden, you can keep track of that one for me.
I'll have my best men working on it. So Numberguy, he's got damage in hand. He's got Rock Biters, Lightning Bolts, and the Flame Tongue. So right now he's got 10, 13, 17 from hand, plus the 3. So he's got 20. Oh my goodness, he was 1 damage from popping his opponent. That is ridiculous.
You know, I have to say, pretty kind of a heads-up play here from Forsen too, to ping the Haunted Creeper. If his opponent just buffed it straight away and tried to attack the 1/1, it would die this way. So when he pings it, That's what he's thinking about. If he doesn't ping it, he can just attack it straight away. He doesn't have to worry about it. So, thinking ahead there. I like it. But this board position looks pretty rough. I don't really know what he's going to end up doing here to climb out of this board position. He's down to 12 already. He's got an ice block developed, but he has to get some action going. His opponent's still at 30. He's facing down a ton of pressure. Flame Strike won't even clear the board right now.
Yeah, he's got 3 damage spells, and that still puts him far away from being able to kill his opponent. Fireball to remove doesn't even guarantee his ice block to be safe.
Yep. So if you Fireball Frostbolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's still facing on 7 points of damage. He just hasn't even really done anything at that point. Wow, this game is quickly spiraled out of control for Forsen.
Yeah, the fact that neither of the Doomsayers popped, but also that Numberguy was able to push out Doomhammer really quickly.
Yep.
Way out of control here. Forsen forced to use a bunch of his removal on suboptimal targets.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. What do you think about playing the Blood Mage there?
I think, does he want to Flame Strike with the Blood Mage? Oh
gosh, well, he's not going to be able to do anything now. And that Ice Block's going to get popped this turn. Yeah, this is looking this is looking pretty bad for Forsen right away. This is one of the downsides of playing Freeze Mage is you don't have a ton of interaction with your opponent's board, so if they're able to put together some damage and fend off the Doomsayers, you are at a significant disadvantage. It's more like a combo deck than it is like a control deck, to be perfectly honest.
Sure. And he's got direct damage from the hand.
Yep. I don't see him winning this game at all. Even if he develops Ice Block, he's just going to 1. He doesn't have any Ice Blocks left. He has no way to heal. He's just got nothing. So, I mean, this extends the game another turn, but can he actually win after this?
Not if his opponent can continue to do damage straight from the hand. Because now he can bypass Ice Block 2 turns in or Ice Barrier 2 turns in a row. Even if he froze an Ice Barrier, he can just push through with Lightning Bolt.
Yep, no, not even a reason to play anything either. Ice Lance not going to do it. Flame Strike not going to do it. Haunted Creeper's still going to be on the board. Sludge Belcher is still not going to do it.
I think he has to Pyro
even if
Blast
he manages to kill us, I mean, he could play Deathwing right here and still lose the game. So
I think Pyro Blast your own face is the only course of action.
well played.
Man, don't die to a Spectral Spider. Don't let it happen for us and go out with dignity. Paint yourself. You know what to do. Oh, man.
He's not going to go for it.
He's actually going to try to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, he might as well try. There's no reason not to because if his opponent just doesn't have any burn. But it's pretty unlikely facing down a Shaman deck. They don't have a way to deal you. A measly 1 point damage. Fire Elemental going to finish it off, of course. Flexing those big muscles. I've never seen Fire have a 6-pack, but that's it's definitely the way to get it done there. Number 2 taking a really quick game 1 here. And he's not going to swap. He's going to stick with Shaman. I can't blame him, but I think Shaman's really good versus both these matchups. He knows he's playing against Handlock. And Forsen, he's got Jiraxis in there and he's got Sylvanas, so a couple of tools to help fight this off, but still not sure how favorable this matchup is. I cannot imagine Numberguy's going to mulligan Hex. And
no. If you know it's Handlock, you have to keep the Hex. In fact, it keeps everything. It keeps Doomhammer and Rockbiter.
Yep. I mean, you can't play it there. That's 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage, 5 mana.
Just beat him up. I keep Doomhammer every single time.
5 mana, 16 damage.
It's too much, man. How do you deal? That's like better than Pyroblast.
It is better than Pyroblast. Forsen does have the Twilight Drake into Sludge Belcher, so the curve fits. Now it's all about crossing your fingers, hope to die, or you all have an alternative play of going Kalento routes, which is avoiding your opponent's matching. Like you would play not the Twilight Drake, you'd play like the Ancient Watcher instead, and then play the Sludge Belcher to try to bait out an Urshock before you go for the Twilight Drake. That's like what Kalento does in matchups where it's difficult.
Yeah, I think with this hand he's just got to go with Twilight Drake. You just gotta hope he doesn't have Urshock. I mean, that's really the gamble here. Like, does he have Urshock or does he not? And When your opponent keeps their whole hand, you're not like thrilled to play Twilight Drake here, but you know, it could just show that he has a really good curve. And, like, I mean, he did see the Haunted Creeper out of the opening, so he could just be interpreting it as a really strong curve. I don't think Numberguy wants to hex this straight away, so he's going to take it slow. Definitely can't blame him for that.
Oh, he's got Lightning Bolt with spell power. Nice. But he used up a lot of his resources already.
Yep. Very vulnerable to Hellfire here, but Forsen just doesn't have it right now. So good news for him. He does have a draw to pick it up. Instead, it's a second Twilight Drake. He needs to silence that Flame Tongue Totem, though. That thing is menacing at the moment. Pulling 4 points of power off the board. With a little 2-1. I think it's a good deal.
I think so. You still have some really strong
Second
cards.
Fighter.
16 damage.
That is a lot of damage.
If he didn't use his Lightning Bolt earlier too, that would have been compounded. Man, that's such an insane amount of burst from the Shaman.
Yep. Let me ask you this question. Okay, so you just Feral Spirited. Does one of these tokens run into the Earthenring Farseer here ever?
Oh, to make sure to hedge your bets against Hellfire.
Like, let's just say he had double Mortal Coil or something weird.
Ah, that's an interesting thought for sure. But double Mortal Coil is not that common, so I think
This is
you
another
could
reason too, by the
be
way.
okay with.
Is if your opponent plays Sludge Belcher here, now you can't attack the Earthenring Farseer, so it's going to kill your other Feral Spirit.
Sure.
That might have been a little bit quick of a play. He's got the Hex, but do you really want to Hex a Sludge Belcher? I never feel good about that. I always feel bad hexing a Sludge Belcher.
It's not as bad as you think, man.
Maybe it's not.
It's not as bad as you think. It's of course not preferable, but a lot of times you're not trying to value and overpower your opponent. You're trying to find small nooks where you can burst your opponent down with Doomhammer or Alakir, because that's how you win. Handlock wins in the War of Attrition, especially now that Jiraxis is in the rotation.
19 points of damage available this turn. Doomhammer, double Rockbiter. I think you should just... I mean, it's hard to say to not go for it, honestly. Like, your opponent would have to have a second heal.
Right, and you have a Viral Elemental.
Yeah. See, I think when you do it this way, it kind of alarms your opponent. They're like, maybe I need to heal up now, or taunt up, or something like that. Well, but goodness if he doesn't taunt up.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a Mountain Giant. That's gonna be real tough.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be real tough to not taunt up these two. Start getting some work done.
Do you feel like there's any reason to taunt up an Ancient Watcher instead?
I mean, there might be, but I guess to play around Earthshock, I think your opponent rips Earthshock here. It feels pretty bad, but so I think long term this is probably a little bit better, just in case your opponent draws Earthshock. I mean, he's not too deep into his deck, but there's still like a 10% chance he draws it, so it's like that's not a good feeling. And then you're getting value out of your Ancient this way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a sizable board for the Handlock player. Like, this is a point where you have to be really cautious not to get killed in 2 turns and lose your entire board. Did he bite off more than he could chew? No, it didn't even matter. It's not like killing off your opponent's health did anything. It was just a Mountain Giant.
Yeah. Had he just gone for face, it might have been a little bit more than he could.
That's true, right? If he just went for double Doomhammer to the face, but then of course we see double Molten Giant heal.
Yeah, it would have been some pretty bad news. I mean, he still have some outs after that. Like a Lightning Bolt will kill him, Lava Burst, those sorts of things. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's a good play.
Unfortunately, he can't use everything. Like, he can't Rockbiter and like, he could use 1 Rockbiter and Fire Elemental if he had 7 mana.
Instead, he's gonna have to take some damage.
Ooh,
yeah,
this game's not pretty.
This game's gonna get interesting. Hellfire.
Hell yes, if you're Forsen.
Yeah, he's gonna look over that. That draw changes so much about what he can do this turn. I mean, he can clear his opponent's board and drop 2 Molten Giants if he wants to.
Do you feel like it's safer just to Siphon Soul and clear systematically and position yourself to kill him next turn.
You know, safe is a relative term. I think it's probably a better play. Wow.
That is a lot of taunts. You Hellfire, and then you put up 2 free Molten Giants. Oh! Wait. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like...
Drunk Forsen almost came out here.
That could be bad. 10 is not like the safest life total, but wow, that is a lot of power on the board.
Oh, baby, a double.
Yeah. You need something right here, right now. I don't know what it is, but it better be like Twisting Nether. And instead, it's Lava Burst. Oh my gosh! He would have drawn the Lava Burst to kill him.
That's right. If he went for Rock Biters in the previous turn.
Yeah, you know, he might have died before that, actually, because the Moltens would have come out, too. Yeah, that would have been... I don't think he would have won this game. I
think you gotta go out gloriously, though. You double Rock Biter and you kill off both these Molten Giants.
Instead, he's just gonna concede. That's a bad feeling to be facing down.
Numberguy, he'll take a very decisive lead. In fact, I feel like this is already Game 5 implications. If Numberguy can win this, he can just be in a position to 3-1.
For sure. Ragnaros is another big card in this matchup. It really helps tilt the mirror in your favor. Mountain Giant for Forsen, Twilight Drake for Numberguy. I think given these openers, it's a little bit of an edge to Forsen, but we'll see what happens. Still plenty of draws on both sides.
It's true. Generally speaking, in the handlock mirror, I feel like the person who goes first, they get out the threats first, and it's just, you know, the person in the back has to always be reactive, and unless there's a big Shadow Flame swing turn, it feels like you're always fighting from behind.
You know, speaking of Shadow Flame, now both of these players have it. Something I see a lot of people do in this matchup that I'm not a big fan of is they coin out Twilight Drake, and it's just a 4/8 when you do that. And I think it's wrong. Like I think it's slightly worse than just waiting. Mm-hmm. You do develop it sooner, but I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes. Like right now, he's got Ironbeak Owl to threaten against Twilight Drake, so he's not too worried about it. And he's also got Mountain Giant if he wants it. So now the Ironbeak Owl's out of the question. But now you know oh my gosh, he discarded the other Twilight Drake.
Yep. That
oh my gosh, he picks up Owl Mortal Coil. That was a really nice draw. Mm-hmm. I think Forsen's out to a really big lead now.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That is ridiculous. His Earthen Ring Farseer has slayed a Twilight Drake. And of course, the Ironbeak Owl. Like, you realize that an owl and an orc killed off like 2 mighty drakes with a Hadouken. That was pretty much the only combination needed to disarm 2 of the biggest threats in this entire deck.
Hit him with a downright fierce.
Yeah.
Fast too.
Oh man.
Did you ever play Street Fighter very competitively?
Not competitively, but I've had my fair share of playing it.
I was really bad against people who threw the slow fireballs.
Oh,
I was always like, why would you throw a slow one? And they just always beat me. I could never win.
That's right. The mix-ups.
Yeah. The only matchup I ever won was Dawson versus Guile.
Oh, you're a Dawson player. Ugh.
It's only because everyone
just jump. You just jump.
Everyone in Houston played Guile, man. I had to do it.
Well, I guess so. That's the only way you can reach. Sludge Belcher, an excellent card normally, but when your opponent has this much initiative on you, I mean, the nice thing is that there is stuff for Numberguy to do, right? He has Shadow Flame, and if things get tight, he can use the Molten Giant, but Forsen's in such a dominant position.
Yeah. I'd be hard-pressed to not see Mountain Giant come down this turn. Now, here's a question. Do you silence this Sludge Belcher? Because that 1/2, like, I mean, is it really that much of a threat? I feel like you can just not worry about it, right? The second silence, I feel like, is worth a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Even though your opponent's lost their other Drake, I still feel like the silence is worth a lot because you can still activate your own Watcher with this.
Mm-hmm.
But like, is now the time you want to activate your Watcher? I don't mind it, but
those are tough questions.
Yeah, I don't like this. I mean, now the Owl's effectively dealing. You could have just activated your Watcher and done the same thing, except you'd have an active Watcher out. And now he doesn't have any Owls left for his Watcher.
But he's got Taunters, just not yet. And it's also Shadow Flame potential.
Yeah. Well, he'd have 18 points of damage had he done it the other way.
Yeah.
So
this is Siphon number 2, right?
Is that number 2?
I want to say the first Mountain Giant was siphoned as well.
Okay.
while we were, talking about Dawson versus Guile. Oh man.
Still a pretty significant advantage over to Forsen, I'd say. He's got an extra Twilight Drake. He's still got 2 copies of Siphon Soul. He's just now using his coin. And he's going to heal up that Drake. That makes a lot of sense, too. And just start the push. So he's got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's got 17 damage next turn. Numberguy at 16 points of health. He's got to do something to get out of this position. And none of his plays look too exciting right now. 2, 4, 10 Drakes. How often do you see that in this matchup? This is brutal.
Not even Shadow Flame on a Giant clears the board.
Yeah.
Mortal Coil to draw for better options.
Needs something big.
Iron Beak Owl.
Yeah, he just uses Mortal Coil, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, this is brutal. Ragnaros can't even hit the right target here.
So, if you silence a Drake in Shadow Flame 1, then there's just the 4/10 left. Do you feel comfortable with that?
You can also silence your Watcher and crash into the 3/3.
True that.
Yeah. I don't think Ragnaros is a reasonable option. He might just taunt up here too. I don't think there's anything wrong with playing Ancient Watcher and just Defender of Argusing them.
Sure. But then you open yourself up to a Shadow Flame.
Sure. I think it's a risk you got to take them. At this point, you're so far behind, you have to figure out a way to recover the board. Oh, he was even thinking about Shadow Flame. You saw he wanted to attack the Ancient Watcher there. He was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But in the end, I don't think it matters much. It just any Shadow Flame, it's fine.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
How much damage
Hang
is
on.
this? If the Drakes can hit face, and there's double Shadow Soulfire, there's 16. But is there a way around this otherwise? I don't think
in this
so.
Position, I don't think so. So
yeah,
it looks like
he's 1 mana off, right?
Yep.
If he had the opportunity to Shadow Flame with Siphon Soul, he could have pushed for a win.
For sure.
All right. Maybe he draw to Hellfire. No, you don't have enough mana to do that. Either Hellfire or Shadow Flame. Power Overwhelming, is it?
I don't know if Power Overwhelming is in his deck. I know a lot of that combo has been cut.
Sure.
At this point, you're for certain going to see a Shadow Flame here. Now, here's an interesting question: is how much does he want to press for damage? Because if he puts his opponent too low, Molten Giants become a threat. So I think it's pretty reasonable to see him often not attack here. This is a deliberate not attack, by the way. It's not that he missed this.
Nice.
Jiraxis, so if he can manage to fend off this board position, he's got a recovery tool.
Forsen also has 2 Siphon Souls. So whatever threat gets popped down, this Molten Giant, Forsen has that. In fact, wait.
Okay, so he Soulfires first because he has 2 Shadow Flames. So he doesn't want to discard his Jiraxis. That's what he doesn't want to do right now. That's the reason he made it in this order. Okay. But Forsen's got 2 Sludge Belchers, and then after that, he's also got 2 Siphon Souls to back this up. I think you could drop both the Sludge Belchers here. Maximum pressure on your opponent. This is a tough spot to come back from if you're a Numberguy.
Forsen's got pairs of everything. Let's see.
Yeah, so much threatens lethal here. I think this is a Ragnaros Sun Fury turn.
But you see no Siphon Souls from your opponent.
Oh,
You'd
my
rather
goodness.
just have the Mountain Giant.
Yeah, he's going to go for Mountain Giant. And this is potentially lethal.
Oh, right. The Law of Soulfire.
Yeah, he's still got to fade the Soulfire. We saw that Lothar discarded a Soulfire earlier in this tournament. He had a 75% chance to win, so he's going to use Life Tap. And now look at this. He's going to Soulfire first.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That is disastrous. This game went from winning this turn to not winning this turn. It's going to put his opponent down to 2, so no Hellfires available, no Life Taps available. He's got to be working off what he has in his hand right now.
Unbelievable.
And even this might not be enough.
The Law of Soulfire.
He needed to draw Jiraxis, so he could discard Jiraxis to it instead.
There's no way you... Is there anything else besides Jiraxis? Like if you go for that taunt and heals?
I think... I don't necessarily think if those plays are better, but they're certainly options. I think the problem with not playing Jiraxis here is that you have to start getting value out of your hero power. So the Eredar Lord of the Burning Legion is going to hit the board, and I would be astonished if one of these Sludge Belchers doesn't get killed this turn. But you are taking an extra point of damage that way. At least for the one turn you are.
Man, Forsen cannot be happy about the second Soulfire. Just because now he can't play Molten Giants for a while. He's too high of a help. And he's got 2 dead cards that are just sitting there.
Yep.
And his hand's so clunky otherwise. He's got 2 cards that he can't fit in with each other. Just awkward. Maybe Lotheb can lock it out.
Yeah. Doesn't have Ragnaros, but Lotheb is still a pretty darn good one right here. Wow, Numberguy down to 8.
Does he need to rag taunt? No, he can still heal up and play Lotheb.
Yep. Giant's never getting played, by the way.
Or taunt up, rather. That makes sense.
Not quite lethal yet. Certainly stringing some stuff together.
Sylvanas gives him ability to impact the board.
You might want to think about your positioning here because that Defender of Argus is really critical right now. All right, so he doesn't want his Sylvanas to get taunted. Wow. I'm very surprised by that.
That is interesting, too. But
why doesn't he want this taunted? Oh, you know what? He wants to avoid Faceless Manipulator. That is literally what he's doing. Because if his opponent Faceless Manipulators his Sylvanas, then he's got an issue.
Right, because then he can't push through it.
Yeah. Very heads-up play.
Can Numberguy survive yet another turn?
Well, let's take a look at what he's got. So, he's facing down pretty much 7 points of damage that he can't deal with this turn. Is there any way around that?
If he Hellfires, he kills off his entire board. I don't know.
You might just have to Faceless Manipulate at the Sludge Belcher and just kind of hope for the best.
Also heal while you're at it. The Farseer.
Yeah, I think if you did that, you would definitely drop the Farseer. You'd probably run your 2/3 into a 6/1. Would you rather taunt the Sludge Belcher, or would you rather taunt the Infernal? As far as from the Faceless Manipulator copy. I don't know, but he's got to make something happen.
I think the Sludge Belcher's 2 life does make a big difference. You saw 2 owls. And that can be a difference between getting that last bits of damage. Remember, Forsen has the Hellfire in hand. He just needs to hit the face with one of these creatures.
Yep. He's going to taunt up his other Infernal. And that could be the difference. Down to 6. Forsen draws Faceless Manipulator. I'm pretty sure that is lethal, by the way.
Yeah. The Hellfire in the Mortal Coil allows him to push through.
And that's going to do it.
A game 3 win for Forsen. Nice. Nice, dude.
Thank you. Throw it in there.
Oh, boy.
I just want to point out, Numberguy's dead and Molten Giant still costs 3 mana. At the end, you'll see it. He's going to stick with Handlock.
Man,
he's got no
my
time
voice
for
changer
games.
when I need it. I need to do some trailer commentary for Forsen. One man, one brotherhood, and a whole lot of snooze this winter.
I'd seriously go see that movie. Just be him like walking around town drinking for like 3 hours and still go watch it.
Start it. Indiegogo, Forsen documentary.
I'm going to start a Kickstarter for that. Who wants to support me?
I will. I'll be your first and only donor.
We can have like a Kickstarter package where like if you hit like the threshold, you can star in the movie with Forsen.
Gosh, everyone already does just by being in a Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Pretty much the documentary of Forsen's life is him reading his donation.
I just got a $100,000 donation for the movie from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
By the way, Forsen has no 4-drop. This is not a good start, and his opponent has pretty much everything that he would possibly need. Ugh.
You know, something he does have, though, is Lotheb. He kept Lotheb in his opening hand. And, obviously, he believes that this is an extremely key card in this matchup, and who doesn't? This is a card that, since Naxxramas got spoiled, even before it came out, people were already building deck lists with Lotheb in it, specifically for this matchup. And Numberguy, showing straight away that he knows what he needs to do in this matchup. This is something I've seen a lot of very strong players do. They play a 3/3 minion, get no effect from its battle cry or from its combo effect or whatever you want to call it, and they just push from there. The repetitive damage is how you end up getting the lead on this deck. And Forsen, very aware of that right away. Hellfire's just a 3/3 because he knows he needs to get it off the board. But look at Numberguy's turn 4 Auctioneer Prep Conceal. This is this is the miracle hand, right?
Yes. Oh man, that is a troll
that
Twilight
Lotheb.
Drake.
And that is exactly why he kept Lotheb, is for this situation. Just a 2/2 Edwin Van Cleef. This is sort of what I was talking about too. These players understanding that you just have to get value out of stuff. He's not going to have time to play Edwin Van Cleef later on in this game. He's got another Auctioneer in his hand. He's got 2 saps. He just literally wants to press for damage. That 2/2 being on the board not only threatens Lotheb when Lotheb crashes into this. If Lotheb crashes into the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, but it also just puts a minion on the board. That's just really what he needs.
That's right. That Ancient Watcher was a nice pickup too. Now he Shadow Flamed that, immediately pressing for damage. He realizes his best way to win is to force his opponent to use a lot of removal here. And that has to be good for Forsen, because now he sees that his opponent couldn't deal with the Lotheb here without taking more damage. Wow. Lotheb doing so much work.
Yep. 2 pair with an Auctioneer kicker, though, is not a bad hand. Especially going into 7 mana. Silence on to Blood Mage, trying to deny as many cards as he can.
Wow, Forsen is trying to finish this game so fast.
Look at both of these players playing so fast, too. This is certainly going to be a sap coming on to this Twilight Drake. I cannot imagine not sapping this. You need that 4/4 body.
Absolutely. Well, sapping the Drake, stalls for time, which is good. There wasn't even a taunt on that creature. It's what,
look at this.
I mean, that's not what you want to see, but that's something that you're more happy to see versus if you dropped the taunt earlier.
Numberguy really valuing the body on the board. He actually chooses to use a 3-point dagger on the owl instead of the silenced Blood Mage to pick it off.
Yeah, it's a cold blood target, isn't it?
Yeah, there's Soulfire. Discards a Siphon Soul. Not the best discard for Forsen, I would say here.
Wait,
everything
best
in his hand
Sylvanas?
is good. Yeah, probably Sylvanas.
At least he didn't discard a second Soulfire, because that could be his reach to maybe end the game.
For sure.
Numberguy on potentially a lot of draws. Again, he saved these shivs. He saved the shivs to potentially get a lot of draws, or even his reach damage without spell power.
Yep.
The shivs are just tickles.
Doesn't want to use the second sap here because if he uses the second sap, then he can't push through any taunts. So it's really important to him right now to not be using this sap if he can avoid it. Yeah, he's actually just going to shift face. Picks up a Blade Fury.
He's got some pretty good damage. Problem is, he needs to also survive. Does he have to sap this Drake again?
I don't think so. I think he needs to save the sap. I really do. Because he's got to just make this push for lethal, which is this the turn he's going to start doing it. So 8 points of damage is going to crash across here. And then he's got the Blade Flurry and hope that the Gadgetzan Auctioneer is going to be able to pick. Oh, never mind. He's actually just going to kill his opponent's minion.
Oh. Wow. Did he misclick there?
Now, that is a really good question because that looked like a misclick to me.
Oh, no. That could have costed him the series.
Yeah, that seems like a kind of a suspect play. But who knows? Maybe he can still pull out of this. But gosh, he needed that extra damage. Look, he probably would have picked it up too. I guess he's fearing Mortal Coil to some degree. Maybe another Hellfire, Shadow Flame. Sap's going to have to get used. A lot of cards getting picked up, though.
The pace of the game has moved so fast that I can't even think about how the play was supposed to look other than just saving it, going to face, and going for Blade Flurry. Yeah. But there's no justification in my mind for what just happened. I think Numberguy realizes, too, that that was a mess up.
Yep.
Giant. I mean, your opponent just used second sap. You can go for your own miracle, Forsen, but I think the Giant's a little bit better.
Yeah, you got to play the Giant here.
I think you go for
You're going to taunt them both up.
Taunts.
Yep, and then you Soulfire this Auctioneer. That's the second Auctioneer gone.
right, whatever.
I think he's delighted to not discard his Faceless Manipulator here as well. And in this position, you know, I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think Numberguy's coming back from this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and there's the
Forsen.
spams.
Waking up. 2-turn lethal is like coffee in the morning for this Swedish fella.
Oh, what a show.
Oh, man.
Forsen should be penalized for his beat. Someone start a Reddit thread right now.
Absolutely not. I will single-handedly assemble my Chanman army to downvote all of you who make those threads against Forsen. I dare you.
I'd downvote him too, I'm not going to lie. I love the BM. I think it should absolutely be a part of this game. It's just like mule dropping in StarCraft.
Yes, but in StarCraft, you know, I can understand because people pour their blood, sweat, tears, and you know, it's all about the speed and mechanics, and you know, in the end, one guy bests each other. But it's a card game. When it's a card game, you have to rub in the RNG and the draws. That's just how you win. That's the difference between a champion and just a guy who's good, right? The good and the best. The difference is how you flaunt your wins.
Yeah,
every single time.
100%.
Yep. Oh man. Well, Numberguy can't really do much. He hopes that he's not going to die based off this last heal.
Well, he's not dead yet. Forsen picked up Sludge Belcher. Here's do you taunt the Sludge Belcher? Or do you taunt? I guess he's just gonna taunt the 8/5.
Right. He just used Blade Flurry.
Yeah.
There's no reason
and that's
not
8 to the
to.
face. Oh gosh, just the crash from Mountain Giant is so satisfying. It is like absolutely the best feeling in the world. Oh, picks up another Earth and
Ball of
McPherson.
Forsen.
So hang on a second. He can actually clear both of these giants right now. Play Lotheb and heal himself out of range of lethal.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he's got another turn here. I mean, he's out of cards and I don't know what he can draw, but he's not dead.
Right. Mr. Forsen, tear down this wall.
Oh, and there's a heal.
Yes.
I think you heal that. I think you heal that Ancient Watcher. Wow. Look at that.
He is taking every option off the board. It's just down to a top deck battle. And I think the quality of Handlock's top decks are much better than the Miracles independently.
Yep, I have to agree with you.
That's gonna do it.
Wow,
Forsen goes to the winners' grand finals, or the winners' finals, excuse me.